Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Shiba Inu, which is a request from one of my community members, Brandon. Thank you so much for requesting that I cover this. And we're just going to do a quick dive here. I'm not really going to need to worry about looking at Bitcoin because it is stuck right around 65,000, which is perfectly fine. It needs to consolidate right at that support. Another couple days, we get a leg up, be perfect. That's ultimately what we're looking for. We need some consolidation at that massive leg down. Now, if you're new to the channel, just know, not a financial advisor by any means. I've just been trading for 15 years, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. I love teaching people how to be more self-sufficient with their finances, and I have an opportunity to be able to do that with my trading community. So check that out in your own time. I actually send out signals for every single trade that I take, and it's a pretty awesome experience for everyone. That being said, let's take a look here at Shiba Inu. Now, for the one-day chart, we're just going to work our way down as per usual. We've got the moving average working its way up, of course, which is pretty standard considering it's just taking a sweet time based on the fact that the price had increased so quickly, right? So all's good there, essentially. We don't need to worry about that for a little while. I like the 50 on the RSI is holding. Just bear in mind that it is testing it a second time here soon. So if that does happen, then we might be in a position where we may lose it, right? But the key takeaway here is that 50 on the RSI is holding. We've got a potential MACD convergence in the next few days. Again, that's not super important on the one-day chart, but just note that the bears are effectively losing control. You can see that essentially just dissipating, right? We could probably see very similar on the 4-hour chart as well, which is good too. The 50 on the RSI is holding as a support level here as well, so that could be a potential sign that the price is essentially going to stay above that level. But my guess is it's pretty much just staying concurrent with this support level here at 5260, 5,260. Okay. Also note something that's important here as well. It looks like the price is back above the 50-day simple moving average. That's a very, very good sign on the 4-hour chart. The 50 on the 4-hour chart is probably one of the most impactful moving averages you could use. Again, it's a simple moving average, SMA, not the EMA. I find those to be more helpful on longer time frames. So larger time frames, SMA, shorter time frames, EMA. But that being said, that's kind of what you're looking at there. So if all goes well, the 50 on the 4-hour chart here just continues to progress sideways, and we get that plus the support level at 5260 to keep driving the price up. So it might come down, test, and then bounce. It's hard to say specifically, but the thing to note here that's important is that we do have basically lower lows and lower highs. Now bear in mind, this is kind of an extreme that shouldn't have even happened, honestly. What should have happened is the price probably would have came down here and bounced off the support and moved back up. Now instead, the price came way down, of course, based on the fact that Bitcoin sold off pretty heavy. A lot of coins like this did as well, and of course we got that little natural ramp back up. So it was kind of necessary in a way, kind of hit the reset button to allow it to kind of push up, but also slowed things down a little bit for Shiba. That being said, again, you can't overlook the fact that this is lower, or sorry, that's lower right here than this one, right? So it is effectively still making lower highs. So until we can get this to break a little bit higher, we're still kind of in potential bearish sentiment, right? Again, it's not the only indicator. The 4-hour chart holding right there at the 50 is perfect. That's really good. But unless we can get the price to kind of close a little bit higher, then we're going to keep making these lower highs and lower lows. And that's effectively, typically more so a bearish trend, not a bullish trend, right? So, okay, just wanted to let you know that. Now moving on to the cloud. Good news is we are back above the cloud. It's not holding super strong. It didn't ramp up, but periods of consolidation like it's going through right now, it has a tendency of kind of jumping up and up and down within the cloud sometimes. So it would be interesting to see how the price responds here in the near future. If it bounces off the cloud here tomorrow, which I can cover this again soon to kind of see what that looks like, then we might be in a pretty good position. Ultimately, my perfect case scenario is for the price to essentially consolidate really close to the support here at about 52.60, and then to add to your position, and then take a leg up for a nice little, what that'd be about 10, right around 15, well, about 14% profit. And what I would do is, and this is what's recommended too as well, and I teach this in all of my trading communities. What's important to understand is to set your profit targets just below Fibonacci retracement lines. So ultimately, you'd probably want to set a stop, basically a sell target at about 6,000 instead of 6,035, which is right where the Fibonacci retracement line is, right? Because again, those lines are there for a reason. They're typically industry leaders that are buying and selling at those specific places. And if you can undercut them and go just a little bit before, you'll typically always take profit. At least I do that. I set 3 profit targets and a trailing stop loss that adjusts with each target that's hit. So I'm almost always in the green, unless something like yesterday happened and Bitcoin drops 10% in one, in 3 hours, then all of your stop losses can have a tendency of triggering, right? It's a different story. But for the most part, you can be fairly safe and secure in that sentiment by having multiple profit targets and, of course, a trailing stop loss. Highly recommend that. We use Cornix Trading Bot for that to allow that to become a reality because it just makes things so much easier. But all in all, something to definitely consider. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at TD sequential. I think we're probably just going to get a bunch of resets here. Yeah, we went all the way down past the 9, as we can see, and then the price has slowly ramped back up. But it hasn't really taken off. In other words, we got another 9 right there that retraced and bounced. But ever since then, we get in these 4s and 5s. And if you are kind of new to the channel, TD sequential, when you count to a 9, it's supposed to retrace or consolidate. It definitely did that here. It honored that specific code, you could say, right? It came down and basically rejected the price, came up, and now we're kind of doing one of these, for lack of better terms, which is perfectly fine. It's actually good when that happens, because when that does, we get this period of consolidation that we need here for the next leg up. And if all goes well, the price can keep consolidating above the cloud, as well as above the 50-day simple moving average, and slowly drive the price back up. Right now, it's okay if the price does trail off a little bit and get down closer to about 5,200. In fact, what I'll do is I'll probably go ahead and set alert about 53. Just so that way we have, I get that notification letting me know that it might be a good consideration to take entry, or at least look at this again while it's a little closer to the support and see if we have higher highs and higher lows at that time. Now again, 4-hour chart tells us we are not making higher highs and higher lows, but the 1-hour chart does, right? So this is a good sign. We got this low, high, low, high. Well, technically it's high. And then right at this point, we're looking at low and low. So I don't really count that too much because it hasn't been enough time. So what we want to do is we want to see this bounce here that goes higher on the next leg up. That way we can get that higher high, okay? But again, if this next low right here, for example, is lower than this guy, then we're in some trouble, if that makes any sense. All right, so that's essentially what I like to look for and kind of what I would recommend maybe considering yourself. So we'll take a closer look at this here again tomorrow. Just kind of keep an eye on it. I think it'd be advantageous to consider paying close attention, because this is one of the more popular coins I get a lot of requests on. This one, LRC, KDA, a lot of big ones right now are taking flight. They're taking over. It's a really cool experience to be able to kind of see how they work, but they're all working directly within the Fibonacci retracement lines. So normally I'd give you a prediction on the sense that it could go up to here or down to here. Right now I feel like the prediction is pretty straightforward. We're going to see probably a period of consolidation tomorrow. At best, we'll get a bounce from 5,200 up to about 6,000. So we'll go ahead and see obviously what that looks like soon, but for now I think it's a little premature. We don't quite officially have consistent higher highs and higher lows in the 4-hour chart, which is what you ultimately want. All right, so thank you very much for joining me here. We'll look forward to seeing the next video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Please consider liking, subscribing, and or checking out my Patreon community. Link in the description below for an explanation on what that entails. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.